Hey, alright, so the final step that we are going to do for getting our scene ready to do the previs for this game cinematic is to add the cameras that I've created into a camera sequencer. Now, a camera sequencer allows me to basically automatically jump from camera to camera as I scrub through the timeline down here. It just makes animation in the one scene file extremely easy. Now, between the last little tutorial and this tutorial, I went through and created all my different shot cameras. Obviously, I've once again have loaded the images from the cinematic as an image sequence for each of these shots so that I could better line them up. They're all in position and locked. I'll unlock them as I go, as I animate them. But the next step would be to, after I get all these shots into a camera sequencer, the next step would to take my little Yolanda puppet here and get her posed correctly in each of these shots so that I can go from shot to shot and she's already there, and then I'll animate her through each shot. Okay, so let's get into that camera sequencer. So I'm going to actually make sure I'm looking through one shot at a time. So I'll go shot by shot. We're going to start with shot 1 here. And now you'll find your camera sequencer under Animation Editors, and Camera Sequencer. So when I load that up, it's if you've never opened this up before, it can be a bit daunting. I find this camera sequencer to be quite finicky, but once you get it working, it's fabulous. So just be a bit patient with it and with yourself. Now these, what we've got down here is we've got a couple of boxes below our timeline. This very first box is where your animation starts. Since our animation in Maya starts at 0, we want to make sure that the animation in the sequencer starts at 0 as well. And this second box in, this is basically the length of your timeline. It's not the length of your overall animation, but it's just the length of what you can see in the timeline here. And as you can see, as I move this frame, this last box updates, and that's showing me what frame I'm currently on in the timeline. So I'm going to actually just set that to 0 because I want to be at the very start of my sequence. So when I load in a shot for camera sequencer, I like to be on the same frame that shot starts. So since shot 1 starts at 0, I'm going to be on frame 0 in the camera sequencer. And what I want is this very first button on the toolbar called Create Shot. And if that button's not there, I can go under Create and Shot. It's the same thing. So I'll just go Create Shot. And what that's done is that's automatically pulled whatever camera I'm looking through, and it's created a shot for me here in the sequencer. Now you'll notice that these numbers are very wrong. So right now it's saying that it ends at frame 120, and that's not correct. It should end at frame 133. And it's called shot, just plain old shot instead of shot 1. So let's change some of these things. So if I double click on shot, I can just come in and go shot 1, hit enter, and that's been renamed for me. And if I double click on the top number in this yellow bar, I can type in 133, and that will automatically set this shot to end at frame 133. Okay, let's bring in the next shot. So I'll change my viewport to look through shot 2 now, and that starts at frame 134. And again, this is why I like to add the frame numbers into the shot name itself, because it just makes it so easy to remember where these shots begin and end. So since shot 2 starts at 134, I'm going to set my current frame to be 134 in the camera sequencer. And once again, I'll go Create Shot. And once more, it's come in with incorrect naming conventions, so it's tried to call this, it's actually brought in my perspective camera, actually, which is totally not what I'm after. So I'm just going to delete that. Let's try this again. Set that to 134. Look through my shot 2. And this time, instead of going create shot, I'm actually just going to click this create shot option on the bar and see if that makes any difference. Oh, that's so weird, isn't it? So it's technically the same operation. This is called create shot, and this is create shot, only the one on the bar brought in the camera that I'm looking through on the viewport, whereas the create shot option under create brought in the first camera it found, which was the perspective camera. Oh, that's a very strange decision they've made when they decide to code up this interface. Anyways, once again, the shot comes in named incorrectly, so I'm just going to update that to shot 2 to better reflect the camera that it's actually representing. And once again, I will update the number at the top of this yellow bar to be the last frame in that sequence, which is 166. And I'll need to update the bottom bar as well, because right now it's saying it's a much longer shot than it actually is. Okay, so you always want to have that first and second number, so the top and bottom number should always be the same. It should always be reflecting that this is beginning on the frame that your image sequence begins on, and it's ending on the frame that your image sequence ends on. Okay, let's bring the next shot in. And I won't make you sit through me bringing in each and every one of these shots, but I at least want to get 3 of them in here. It's going to be the same process for each one. So I'm going to look through shot 3, make sure my viewport is set to that. Now shot 3 starts at 167, so I will make sure I'm on frame 167 in the camera sequencer. And once again, I shall create a shot. Okay, and once more, let's rename that to be the appropriate shot. And we will adjust the numbers at the end of this shot bar to actually reflect when that shot actually ends. Now I've currently sent that shot off frame, so if I can't see it, all I need to do is increase how many frames I can see in this sequencer. So I've just increased that to 600, and you can see now that I've got significantly more frames visible to me. So all I have to do is then make sure that this bottom value reflects that top value, and that snaps that shot back into position. Okay, so well, here's the fun thing. This is why the camera sequencer is so cool. If I just scrub through, you'll see that my viewport down here automatically updates. So I don't need to go through and constantly be changing my cameras. When I'm animating, all I have to do is scrub through the animation sequencer, and it changes my camera's so it makes the cut. It jumps to the correct cut at each point, and the cameras last for exactly the number of frames that they are designed to last for. If I hit play, it will play through that sequence correctly, making the jumps when it needs to cut. It's just going to make life so easy when I go to animate and when I go to render this out. So I'm going to, in my own time, load up the rest of these shots so that we have all of our shots in this sequence. And the next step from here would be to set up our little Yolanda Previs puppet to more accurately reflect her actual poses. So I'll just, let's bring that image plane back up so you can see it. So our next step is to make sure that this Yolanda puppet actually looks like the pose in the storyboard, and at least get her set up correctly for the first frame in each shot. That's our very first blocking pass, is to, at the start of each shot and the end of each shot, make sure that that puppet is in exactly the position it should be in as per the storyboard. And then, after we've started with the beginning and the end of each shot, then we animate her through each shot. So next step is our first blocking pass. and then we will go into animating pose to pose. Okay,